All right. So good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We want to thank you guys for taking time out of your busy day, like we just said, to come in, network with us, and hear from the Maryland Transit Solutions team. We've got some experts in the room, and we want to make sure to impart the information that we have for you guys, and again, make that connectivity. This is a part of our mentoring series training. So we do this quarterly. Every 3 months or so, we try to have a training that's geared towards the project and debunking or demystifying a process in some regard. So we've done the outreach and procurement fair last year. This is something that's going to be a recurring. We want to make sure as long as we've got procurement opportunities to release, we want to make sure that we're engaging with you guys and letting you know how that process works for people that don't know. We do things for safety, bonding, insurance. We've got a QA/QC training that's going to be coming up in April. So stay tuned. If you guys aren't, I'm assuming that everyone here is already in our eBlast system. So if you are not and you were referred by somebody else, make sure that you guys have signed in, give us your contact information, because then we can add you to our system moving forward. Okay. So again, really quick housekeeping. Sharitha went over where the bathrooms were and the codes. And again, for the people online, we want this to be interactive. So if at any point you guys have questions, we do ask that you engage with us. So if there's a good stopping point, you can take yourself off of mute, pose that question. Otherwise, we will be monitoring the chat feature. So if you guys notice at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a chat. Go ahead and type your questions in the chat. My team here is going to be monitoring those chats and they'll interject. Otherwise, we'll save them to the end. We've got a Q&A. Same thing for the people in the room. If you guys have a question on anything that we're talking about, raise your hand. Let us know that you've got a question, comment, concern, and we'll engage with you guys in the room as well. So what are we going to be talking about today? The whole reason why we're here. During this training, we're going to talk about who MTA is, because MTA, as the owner of this project, we want them to introduce themselves and have a forum with you guys. We're going to talk about MTS, who Maryland Transit Solutions is, and our different roles. We'll talk about the Purple Line Transit project, give a quick overview of the project and what we're actually building here. We're going to do a DBE program overview. So the big reason why we're all in this room is because we are the DBE advocates for the project. Everything that we do is really to enhance contract visibility for the DBE community. So we'll talk about that program and again, why we're even doing this. And then we'll talk about the MTS outreach and procurement approach. So how we outreach to small businesses, what we do to actually conduct the RFP process, how POs are a little bit different in that process, our contract review. And then once we actually engage with you and we execute a contract, how that process works. So literally from start to finish, we're going to give you guys a full overview about how we operate as MTS, end with Q&A, and then have some networking for you guys. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and dig into it. And we're going to start with some introductions. I know it says who is MTS, but we're actually going to introduce MTA.
Thank you, Corey. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Show of hands, everyone know about the Purple Line project. I guess our process, all of our phases that we've been through and currently where we're at. No?
Anybody in the room who doesn't, raise your hand if you're kind of unsure about the project. And
Okay, that's good. That's good. Well, the Purple Line, we've been going on for a couple of years now. Like the rest of the world, kind of paused for COVID, and we're officially, we picked back up. Right now, we're currently at a DBE in terms of 9% achievement, and we have to get to 22% with construction. We've already achieved our design, but as time goes on, we still need to maintain that. So we'll still be looking for, if you are a AE, company firm, we'll still need support in that regard as well. But currently, I don't want to go step on Corey's feet too much, but I did want to introduce our team, M.MTA team. Me, myself, I am Marquise Washington, the Director of DBE, MB, and Civil Rights Compliance. We have Linton Wallace, is our DBE / compliance program manager. We have Sharitha Semakula. She is all of our program, she's all of our programs administrator. So we have our DBE, DBA, we have our NTW, then we have our 2 compliance specialist officers, senior compliance officers, Jamila, as well as Rashad. in the back, you'll see them more often, because they will, if you are working on a project for, construction, they'll be seeing you in the field working or doing, commercial use or function reviews on you. So that's pretty much it from us. This is all of our, contact information. We do have cards over here, and as well as I have some on me, to, hand out. So thank you. That's it, right?
All right, I do see a lot of people taking pictures. I want to let you guys know that we'll share these slides with you. So if you don't want to have a whole roll of slides on your phone, as long as we got your email, we'll send them to you. So if you guys don't want, don't worry about it. And then you get the good quality version of it, so.
Okay.
So then we'll talk about who MTS is. Maryland Transit Solutions. So we are a JV, a joint venture. Maryland Transit Solutions is comprised of two large Spanish companies, Dragados and OHLA USA. This project is a P3, a public-private partnership, so the structure is a little bit different here. The way this works, MDOT, as the owner of the Purple Line project, they have a concessionaire. There's private financing, a part of this project. That private financing team is PLTP, or Purple Line Transit Partners. Them and MTA work very closely together. They actually have the contract with MTA. We are a sub-tier, or the design builder for Purple Line Transit Partners. So we're kind of twice removed from MTA, if you will. We're kind of the stepchild in this situation. We're the design builder. We're gonna actually be building out the rail that gets turned over to PLTO, Purple Line Transit Operators, who then operates and maintains the line for the next 25, 30 years, 30-year contract. So this project is gonna go on for a while. Again, once we get done building, then we turn over to the operations and maintenance team. So what our goal is to really find out who those procurement leads are, what those processes are, and then make some connectivity to you guys, to that team, as we transition out. So again, we don't want this to be a, we're done, see you later. We want this to be a, we're done, this is the next phase, this is the next step, this is what you do now, okay? So again, stay in tune with us. I'm saying all this to really encourage you guys to stay in tune and really engage with us throughout the life of this project, okay? One more thing I want to note here is under Maryland Transit Solutions, we've got two dedicated subcontractors. CAF, they are the LRV, or the light rail vehicle manufacturer. They're the ones who are delivering the cars. And then Atkins is our lead designer. So they've helped design 100% of the project. We've got some other design elements elsewhere, but they're the lead guys who helped really figure out how we're going to build this in the first place. So the Purple Line project, I saw a show of hands of people who were kind of unsure about the status of the project. How many people know about the project in general? Like what we're actually building, aside from the fact that it's a light rail, who knows what we're doing? Raise your hand if you actually know details. Okay, so the majority of you don't. It's good. All right, so a couple things. Purple Line Transit Project, we're a 16.2 mile long alignment. We're gonna have 21 stations along the entire alignment. So we're going from New Carrollton to Bethesda, or Bethesda to New Carrollton, depending on where you live, joining two counties, Prince George's County to Montgomery County. First of its kind to join two counties in that way. The way I explained the Purple Line, right now, the WMATA system is like a glove, right? You got DC as the palm, and all the trains kind of do their thing in DC, and they have these little spurs that come out into the suburbs. In order for you to get from one place in the burbs to another, you go in, you transfer, and you come back out to wherever you need to be. Purple Line is essentially turning the glove into a mitt. So you'll be able to get from New Carrollton over to Bethesda without going into the city and coming back out, okay? So we connect to WMATA 4 different places. You notice right over here, the orange line at New Carrollton Station is our first point of contact. Then we connect again at the College Park Station, and that's right out here where we are. We're gonna connect to the green and the yellow lines here. We connect to the red line at Silver Spring, so right near the Silver Spring Library. And then we connect for a final time at Bethesda. And there's gonna be a Bethesda shaft there that actually goes down to the subway at that interchange. So it's a pretty big project. We're connecting to the MARC train. We're connected to Amtrak's Northeast Corridor. It's a big undertaking. If you got questions about the Purple Line, about what I'm talking about, no, absolutely.
What kind of data
right, went into the decision to put this sort of connector in Maryland versus Virginia?
Oh, that's a question that I can't answer. The question was, what sort of data went into mapping out whether this is gonna happen in Maryland or Virginia? That I can't answer. I'm not sure anybody in this room will be able to answer that for you, but I will tell you that I moved here for this project in the very beginning of 2018. When I got here, my housemate at the time told me that she had been hearing about this project since she was in elementary or middle school.
Wow. Okay.
So this project has been developed and researched for the past 20 years before we even got to this point of like actually building it out. So the people in this area that grew up here, it's funny, I'll go to events all the time. They're like, Purple Line, that ain't happening. I heard about that when I was a kid. I'm like, no, we've been building for a couple of years now. What? So it's happening. I don't know what went into the background, the research, but it's been in development for a very long time.
I'm not sure if I understand. Were you asking, whether the project was starting from Maryland or Virginia going to? Like, what was can you explain?
So
the question?
sometimes people do things like this based on following the money, like looking at transit or just pure traffic flow versus the interconnection of business flow between certain counties to kind of make those kind of informed decisions on
Yeah.
which parts of the DMV would be best served by this
Yeah.
sort of thing. So I was just curious
Okay.
if that was.
That's a good question.
Like Corey was hitting on a little earlier, it was a need to go from the PG County, starting at the New Carrollton section, but then going directly to Bethesda. That was a need that they were seeing that people wanted to have. So I'm not sure if it started from the Virginia side, knowing coming this way, if that was a direct connect that was needed per se. I could see it being needed, but I'm not sure if that was a little more in depth that you needed to, I guess, work out between America, sides of Virginia, and it not being a metro, so I'm not sure.
There's a question behind you?
Well, it wasn't a question. I was kind of just touching on it, but on the way in, I was kind of listening to a bunch of stuff that was on the news this morning about the Purple Line. And one of the things that I thought was the major reason was to connect Prince George's County suburb to Montgomery County suburb. So it is, so that was the whole purpose of it, which is probably why it's in Maryland, not
Yeah.
here.
And that was the point of one of the largest first design build contract that we did, which is the Maryland Intercounty Connector, Maryland to Migrate.
Right.
Mm.
And that was connect Prince George's County to Montgomery County. And alleviate the traffic. I'm not sure of the numbers now of how many people go into Washington DC. Maybe about 2 to 3 million people per day through there. But also there's only a population of about so many 100,000. So to alleviate that, stress on 495, they wanted to build a corridor so people can get back and forth. And there's also more projects coming up as far as like, the 495, 270.
Yep.
They're gonna have easy pass lanes, to alleviate some of that flow of traffic during peak hours. So there's a lot of infrastructure, transportation projects that are happening and going to be happening in the near future to, cut down on some of the, emissions going on around the 495 corridor.
Right.
And, one more-
No, go for it.
This had nothing, so this is not a WMATA project or a DC project, so the study on whether Virginia or Maryland, this was a Maryland project, this is something they wanted to do to connect communities. And it's also something they were looking to do up in the Baltimore County area, to connect downtown Baltimore to Baltimore counties. So people can have access from all demographics, so different zip codes, which include people from different socioeconomic status.
Yeah.
So they want to have a meeting place for a connection for.
Very good point.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
It's actually good conversation leading us into our next slide. So we're talking about what are some of the important benefits of having the Purple Line. So we're creating several new multimodal connections across the region, to Linton's point. We're going to expand transit opportunities in 2 of the fastest growing counties in the state. So Prince George and Montgomery County, 2 of the fastest growing. Creating convenient, dependable east-west transit, spurring economic growth across the 2 counties, and providing significant environmental benefits through the operation of electric vehicles, obviously reducing emissions through vehicles. Okay, so good conversation leading up to this slide. I appreciate that. Some things that I want to point out for the light rail vehicles, because these are a little bit different than what we have typically seen in the LRV realm. These are a little bit above grade, if you will. So these light rail vehicles, we've got 26 of the 28. When this was done, this was about a year ago. I think we might have all 28 of them done now at this point. Delivery is supposed to begin in fall 2023. That got pushed back to this year. So we're gonna have delivery starting, I believe, 2024. I'm not sure if you guys have gone down Veterans Parkway, but we've got a huge operations and maintenance facility there. That's gonna be where a lot of the testing and inspections start. These trains have 80 seats available, 400 standing room capacity, low floor with wide doorways to allow for wheelchairs, flexible space and folding seats to allow for 8 wheelchairs and bicycle storage. So these are pretty wide, pretty big trains. Really happy about these. So that's kind of the project and the teams as a whole. We're going to go into more about the DBE program. Any questions about what we've covered before I transition? Okay. All right, so DBE program, show of hands, who in here has heard of the DBE program?
I have a question about alignment. Can you please address?
Yes, go for it.
Okay. My question is, I see that it's very close going parallel to the mark line at points. So how
Yes.
often does the purple line actually connect with the mark line? Where are the common stations where you can get off and on to catch the mark train?
That is a great question. If you look here at this map, you see that we connect with Mark at the New Carrollton station,
Yeah.
and then we connect to Mark again here at the Green Line station, the College Park station.
So we're about four different stations that are connecting. Okay.
And
Thank
there's
you.
another, so we're at the Mark 3 times and we're at WMATA 4.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
and then you at the Silver Spring station here, there's another Mark. Any other questions about the alignment? Right. So back to the DB program, I saw how many people were made aware of the DB program. How many people in here are actually working for or own DBE certified companies? Raise your hand. How many people in here are small businesses but are not DBE certified? Keep your hands up, put your hands a little higher, because those are the people that I'm gonna be talking to about certification that folks are doing. Okay. Okay. All right, just checking, making sure.
Be gentle.
All right, so this project has a pretty significant DBE goal, which is why the hands that were just held. Please talk to us afterwards, because if you want to get engaged, the best way to do so is as a DBE.
Okay.
I can't really advocate for you unless you're a DBE,
Okay.
right? So you come to my room and you say, hey, I want to get on this contract opportunity. I'm say, that's great. Are you DBE certified? And you say, no, I'm gonna say, well, let me talk to you about that certification instead of talking to you about this opportunity. So just make sure that that's in the back of your brain, because that's what we have to do in order to engage with, in order to meet this goal. So diversity makes a difference, right? We know that. This project has a 22% construction goal for DBE, has a 26% design phase goal. So again, goals are pretty high. We want to make sure that we are engaging with as many DBEs to pull them into our contract fold as possible. Point of the DBE program, grows your company, provides experience for future projects. A big part of the DBE program is to not just bring you into the program, but to facilitate the growth of your business. So if there's anything that we can do to kind of assist and mentor you along the path, by all means, please make sure that is known, whatever that support that you need. Make sure that it's known to the team so that we can assist. Stimulates the local workforce. We're creating legacy businesses in the local marketplace. Again, we talked about the JV, right? This is 2 big companies that are not from Maryland. So what we do, we come into the area, we want to make sure that we're engaging and facilitating the growth of the local businesses so that when we leave and we go to the next big thing, let's say that it's in another country or across the country, the firms that are here had a shot, had a piece of this pie so that they can then grow and go on to the next thing as well. Okay. We're going to improve the travel experience of millions daily. And that was a point that Linton was making. So our plan to assist you, what are we going to do? We're going to make bid packages easily accessible through our bidding platform, Building Connected. We're going to unbundle larger packages to make bidding more feasible for you as a small business. We're going to provide a point of contact for each bid package, so you aren't trying to figure out who do I need to talk to get information. We try and streamline that. We remove barriers of entry. We're looking at different bonding requirements and insurance requirements. We work with you if you have issues with that, if it makes sense, obviously, for that scope of work. And then we're gonna support you along the way to make sure that you guys are successful, okay? The point isn't to just bring you on here, overwhelm you as a small business, put you under, and then move on to the next. We bring you on, we facilitate the growth, piecemeal things to you, grow your capacity, grow your contract, so that you can then go on and say, hey, I started here, but when I left, I was here. That's the goal. So DB certification. Talking a little bit about the DB certification itself, because we do have some people in here who need to know. Maryland M.DOT is the only person that certifies DBEs in the state of Maryland. Okay, there are some states that have many different agencies that'll do this. In Maryland, only M.DOT. Okay, so MTA doesn't do the certifications. FHWA doesn't do certifications, only M.DOT here in the state. We've got a link here. They've got a really nice online directory that has everything turned digital. There's no more old school paper process, email this, send this packet in, fax it. Everything can be done online and upload virtually. This is for for-profit businesses. So you can't be a nonprofit. We're looking for profit. And the majority ownership of the company has to be in the person who is economically or socially disadvantaged. So 51% or more has to be in that person's ownership. Typically what we're looking at when we talk about economically and socially disadvantaged, minorities and women, okay? When does a firm need to be certified? We have to have you certified before contract award, otherwise we can't claim credit for the work that you do. That's one of the federal regulations that we have to adhere to, is that in order for credit to be claimed, we have to wait until you are actually certified, execute that contract, and then we can pull you in.
What's a forecasted timeline estimate on the DBE
Certification?
certification?
So her question was, what's the estimated timeline for DBE certification?
Like,
Right now, what they're telling us is that there's about a 3-month window once you submit a completed application. There's a little bit of a process to build that application, right? Because they're going to be looking into your financials, they're going to be looking into taxes, basically everything that you've done to create the business and get to that point. They want to have proof that you are a legitimate business and that you've done whatever it is that you're looking to get certified in. That's a primary business line of yours. You have to prove that. Once you submit the documentation, it's about a 3-month waiting period.
I will say tack on some more time, simply because, there's a lot of, applications that come through. There's also a lot of, renewals that come through. And, it's just hard to gauge, honestly. And even when I call up there to speak and, just try to find out the status of specific applications, they're just in the works. So please, that actually goes into it. If you're a certified, DB certified in another state, but not Maryland, get your application in as soon as possible, please, because we just don't know how long it'll take.
Yeah, so Marquise brings up a good point about the certification. I'm not sure if you guys caught that in the back. He said if you're certified in another state, get your application in right away. That point that he made is super important because in order to get certified in Maryland, you have to be certified in your home state. So let's say that your business is actually a Virginia-based business or it's a DC-based business. You live here and you do business in Maryland, but your business is set up in Virginia or DC. You have to get certified in your business's home state first before you can certify anywhere else. And that's nationwide. So if you're looking to do work in Illinois and Chicago, you can't just go and apply there if you haven't already applied in your home state. So what happens is they do what's called the interstate application process. If you're looking to work in other states outside of your home state, get certified there. You take that approved application, you submit that application to the next state that you want to work in. It makes it a lot easier because you've already done the back and forth on what you need for that federal certification with your state. Okay, so that was a really good point. Yeah.
You have to have reciprocity with the state of Maryland, though.
In order for the
In
interstate,
order to be seamless like that, yeah. Maryland have to have to be in a relationship with the state that you have your primary certification in order for the reciprocity to take place.
so that's reciprocity. We're talking about the interstate application process, though. That's two different things.
Okay.
Yep, two different
Two
things.
different applications.
Yep. Reciprocity is when a state can accept your certification in their state. That's not getting certified in that state.
Yeah, totally different.
Yep, that's a little different.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I know you think that some of us are in a hurry, but is it possible that the process of certification is kind of reviewed a little bit. We went to an event yesterday and they're reviewing, the way they certify DBE, minor MBEs and so on, and they are actually putting it on a fast track.
Oh,
Yes, so.
who did you talk to?
No, I'm
Sorry,
not
my
talking
voice
about.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's the, what's, keeping it from moving fast enough? For.
Going through the details, financial records, and it honestly, to do it properly, it takes time. It should take time.
You need help with that?
Well, thank God I don't have to do it. MDOT is actually doing it. Yeah, I don't use that.
Yeah, I use the certified DD. So a lot of the time, a lot of that lag time actually comes from getting that paperwork in. They require a lot of financial documentation as well as a lot of other documentation. It's hard to for those companies. On top of that, there's other benefits like there is typically I want to say a large number of companies that are trying to certify typically at the same time. So even for something like this, because of this, because we're in this opportunity, a rush of 20 to 30 companies are going to try to, apply for fees, and that's already on top of maybe 150 companies that are waiting for 2 to 3 certified. So, unfortunately, don't necessarily have the manpower to meet the standard.
And keep in mind, MDOT is doing for the whole state of Maryland, right? It's a lot of companies that are coming through. I do know just from sitting beside a certified, someone certifying these DBEs, it's the small details that matter. If your application is not complete, then if it's not complete, then it'll, they'll notify you, tell you what's missing, put you to the side. And then they start with another one, right? So it's like, once they get back to you, then it's a whole nother process. If you're still missing information, then kind of get put back to the side. So it's very important to get a full completed application in so that they can kind of just go through the process.
And they do have training for that, right?
I was just gonna say, one thing that I would highly, highly, highly recommend and suggest for anybody who has not gone through the process, if you're confused, have questions, they have trainings. Every single week, MDOT puts on trainings that talk about certification in detail. They pull up the application, they walk you through every single section of the application. They walk you through the attachments that are gonna be necessary, any supporting documentation that's gonna be required. They walk you through all that.
Okay.
Build your notes, build your portfolio, and start plugging in exactly what you need and start pulling where you need to get it from. Highly recommend going through that training if you haven't already.
Thank you.
Okay, super beneficial. And then the last thing that I want to talk about with DBE is the NAICS code certification and CUF. So basically, in order for us to claim credit as an entity for any of the work that you do, you have to be appropriately certified to perform that work. We've got a lot of DBEs who will reach out to us and they'll say, I saw an opportunity for concrete flat work and I'm interested in it. And we look at their profile and they do cleaning. You're like, well, how? We've done it before. Can you show us proof that you've done it before? Yeah, let's get back to you. So what MDOT has done, or the state in general, the UCP program in general has done in order to make sure that firms are bidding on work and participating on work that we can have some sort of justification for using them. They use the NAICS coding system. It's a North American industry classification. Did I go up too far? Here, so NAICS codes. NAICS codes are basically how we certify us firm for the work that they do. There's a 5 coding system that's put into place. If you look here, it says the 2 series are generally for construction type work. 3 series are generally going to be for manufacturers and that type of work. 4 series are going to be for suppliers and dealers. And the 5 series are going to be for professional services. So if you do design and engineering work, you're probably going to have a 5 series code. If you do concrete flat work, you're probably going to have a 2 series code. If you do construction safety supplies, you're going to have a 4 series code.
Okay.
So you guys kind of get how the coding works. We need to make sure that when we look at your profile, that you have the right NAICS codes for the work that we are actually looking to bid or award to you. Okay? Any questions around that?
Yes. If you have, you could be in two different series, right?
You can. Yep.
Yeah.
You can absolutely have codes in different series, but you just have to prove to the agency that you do work and you perform work in those areas. If they review, they come in, they do an interview, you provide the documentation, work history that they need, the performance history that they need to verify, they add those codes, that's no issue.
If you are new.
If you're new, yeah, that she said if you're new, that's a tougher sell, right? Because as a new company,
Mhm.
it's hard to sell an agency on 5 different scopes that you're doing as opposed to one thing that you're doing really well, or that's your primary.
What about if you had done that in your previous life before you became a DBE? I mean, if you,
That's on your
That will
resume.
help.
That's
on
what-
your
Right.
resume, that's what I'm
Right.
saying.
Yep,
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
will help.
Yep.
That will help.
Capability of that for
exactly,
organization, then that capability you can leverage.
exactly. Another thing to note is that when you get certified, what you get certified for, it's not locked into that. So I don't want you guys to think that when you certify, you're locked in and that's the only thing you do for your life as a DBE. You can change your NAICS codes at any point. There's a
Okay.
process called the expansion of services.
Uh,
Super simple. Basically, what you do is you submit an application saying, hey, I want to expand my NAICS codes. Here are the codes that I want. Here's a reason that I want. And then you have to show proof that you actually perform that work for those new codes.
Thank you.
So you can expand, change your codes, we want to make sure that the certification is able to grow with the business. We don't want to have the certification pigeonhole the business into a certain niche, right? So as you grow,
That code, I'm sorry.
expansion of services. Yep, yep. And again, also online, super simple. Everything that is certification related, MDOC has done a really good job of transitioning it to an online platform. Okay. So with that, I'm gonna turn it over to my colleague Crystal, and she's gonna talk to you guys about our outreach process.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So the outreach process, we sent out notice of interest and call efforts as what you all probably responded to is a part of our outreach process. So we call the notice of interest an NOI, and it's sent out to all registered firms that are on the MDOT website. There's a big directory of all DBEs that have been certified under MDOT. So those will automatically go out. We also have firms that are registered via our website. MTS has their own website. There's a QR code over there where you can scan. And if you're not already registered and receiving other e-blasts, if you just heard, ear or word of mouth about the event today, you can go over there, scan that, and that will take you directly to our website and you'll get onto our vendor list. Part of the NOI that goes out, there's a notice of interest, in that little purple, you click on that, and then that takes out the survey and asks what exactly of that opportunity are you interested in? As you can see, for example, here, we have guardrail supply and erosion and we got ENS control. So you may have interest in guardrails, but ENS, no, it doesn't fit your scope of work. So just be mindful when you're reading the survey, what exactly are you interested in? And then what we do on top of that, the actual firms that are interested, and they have the appropriate NAICS codes that Corey was talking about, we'll actually call and let you know, hey, we have an opportunity. Are you interested? Because sometimes this may fall in your junk folder. So keep an eye on your junk folder also, just like every week or two, just take a look. It comes from Maryland, it's spelled out Maryland Transit Solutions. So just take a look, because they were coming through our email, because we get them too. They were coming through our junk folder too. So that's how you will know. And then the interested firms are vetted, so we make sure that you have the appropriate NAICS code, and then we pass them over to the procurement department. And that's when the bid list will be provided to them for opportunity. And here again is the website. It's marylandtransitsolutions.com. And there's a scan code. Also, I put it over there too, QR code. When you go into the project itself, that QR code will take you there. But if you go into MarylandTransitSolutions.com, scroll over to DBE program, and here you'll find different items. There'll be DBE dues and tools. There's actually contract opportunities. And when you go to the contract opportunities, that will take you over to Build It Connected, where the bidding system is connected with MTS. We highly suggest that if you do go over here, select bids due and put it to the most recent so that you can see what is currently open, because it's everything that has ever been put into Build It Connected through MTS is located this. Again, just like the junk folder, I recommend maybe once or twice a week, just go on to the website, go into the procurement opportunity, just in case something was missed, if you were missed on that. Or it went to junk folder, you just deleted it. Also on the website, we actually have another one with awarded contracts. So we have a list of all the firms that have been awarded contracts. So if you believe that your firm isn't big enough to bid, there may be a firm that's already awarded a contract with the scope that you're interested in. Reach out to them. And then maybe that will help your resume, your work resume with
Lower-tier opportunities.
DB, yeah.
Question, did you say that the layout of that last one, when you award items or work, does it show which company you got one or two?
I
So you kind of.
I think Gabriel will go into detail on that and Build It Connected. So here, once you get into Build It Connected, yeah, he'll go into more detail with Build It Connected and what you can see in there.
I'll walk you.
And so here's Gabriel with the bidding process.
Okay, hello, Gabriel Menendez, commercial manager for the MTS. Good transition. So, okay, I take care of the contracts. I am the link between the segment leads, the construction guys and you. So, making sure the contracts are done and so how does it work? Okay.
The arrow key.
Okay, so normally the segment leads, the construction people, what we request them when they need to put something for bid, they provide us with a scope of work, our description, some takeoffs. Sometimes we don't have the takeoffs. It's not ideal. We prefer to have the takeoff, then design drawings and we extract the special specification applicable to that work. With all of that, we talk with Crystal, we are in communications. She does the e-blast and the outreach, and she provides a list of DBEs. With all that good information, we go to Building Connected, which is our bid platform. As I said, it's good to check on your spam emails because all the invitations are gonna go through Building Connected. I'm gonna try to do a demo here, so I'll show you how it works. Let's see. I don't know if you see the screen. Yeah, you see that one. Because I'm not using my computer. Stop sharing. I'm sharing that one. Contact. See? Yeah. It's not showing there. We need to duplicate or expand or. We stop the presentation. Maybe using the presentation one. There you go. Yeah, that was frozen. Of the presentation. Now, there we go. So yeah, if you click on our on our webpage on DBE program, you go to contracting opportunities. So here we have all the packages that we have posted so far. You have a brief description of what is the project. And you have all the packages here. So as Crystal mentioned, those are all the packages we've posted so far. So it's best you filter from the newest. So you see how those are bid April 8, 2024. Those are the ones that are up for bid. If you see that that date is in the past, that opportunity has left the harbor, okay? So right now we have like 4 of them. We have environmental services, corrosion protection, Leedonsville, roadside and road signs. So that's our webpage. But if you click join, anyone can click here. That will bring us to building connected. Okay. Still doing anyone outside?
My drive in a browser.
Many of them, but yeah. Can I plug mine? Okay. So if you click join on every package, you will find that page. Okay. So here you have like a description of what is the package, opportunity summary. You have like what are the description of the project, what are the specifics of the package. For example, that one is like for road signs, scopes, what you need to provide, shop drawings, some meters for the signs. When is that is due? So the package is due for. And then that's like a brief description, okay, of what is needed, what we have posted for bid. Then if you click on files, you will get all the package information. So here, for example, folder 1, 2, and 3, those are the generals. Those are like our contract. Those are like our technical provision, the geotechnical information. But you see, for example, we were on the package road signs. You have that folder road sign. This is what you will find all the good documents that you need for that package. You will find the drawings. You will find the takeoff. You will have what you need there, okay? Also, you need to know that that platform connects us, everyone. If anyone has a question, he can send us a message and we will reply copying everyone. So that's a transparent thing. So if there is a bid extension, everyone will know at the same time, okay? And then also, if you click here on bid form, you have the line items that we want you to bid, okay? You can fill it directly on Building Connected, but you can also upload that gives you an option to upload a PDF, okay? You can add a file, add an item or upload a PDF.
There we go.
So you can attach your proposal here. Yeah.
May I ask, is it something we should keep in mind that maybe the browser or device may give a better performance sometimes, or is it just same?
From my perspective, it's the same, that technical issue that we just had. I'm an administrator. with Building Connected, and we were going through the platform that was embedded in our website. So Building Connect, this is the actual Building Connected website. We have taken Building Connected and put it into our project website, so that way you don't have to try and figure out building platform. Building Connected is like a Planet Biz, where anybody can go to planetbiz.com, but you won't see the specific project unless you've been invited to that project's URL. So to avoid that sort of confusion, we just went ahead and put our project Building Connected on the website. Because I'm an admin, it was trying to make me sign in.
Yeah, but normally you won't have to sign in. Normally, on my computer, you just click join and will give you directly to the package.
No, you're not. What I'm saying is that is it something that we can just, people to know that certain browsers would like to give us that performance, like if I'm using a
She's saying
tablet.
Chrome, she's saying Chrome works better.
Okay, bravo, thank you.
She said Chrome works better.
Right.
So I haven't seen any connectivity issues. She's in a lot more than I am, so I will take care of
Because
her.
if you were on the list that, on the outreach list, you will receive an email from Building Connected directly. But you can always have the opportunity, even if you were not invited, to go to our webpage, check what is left for bid or what is bidding on the moment and access from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just want to make sure that everybody's clear on that, on what Gabe just said. The reason why we put Building Connected into our website is because we want it to be open. To his point, every time we introduce or put out a new package, we have to invite people to that package. This way, it's open to anybody who goes to our website. You don't have to be invited to that package. You go to the website and you can go and join any of the opportunities that fit your scope, and you can bid directly outside of us saying, hey, you have the right NAICS codes to bid this work, let's pull you into the fold. Okay, so that way we aren't making that choice for you. You just go on here, you check, and if it's something that fits and you didn't get a call from us, go ahead and make an informed decision. Real quick, she was gonna ask a
I'm
question.
sorry, so I've definitely replied to a couple of these, to both of my companies.
Okay.
I've never got a reply back.
So do you have the NAICS codes for the specific scope? So that's one of the things that we're looking for.
Control and then there's something and excavation and, you know, that's my nice code, the other nice code.
Okay.
White nice code, the next code, I make my own word up.
It's all good.
So, but, is there like a main person that you can get in contact? Because sometimes the emails do not get.
This,
That's
this
me.
is the main
Yeah,
person.
yeah. Me, I receive all the emails from Building Connected and normally we reply to all of them.
Okay.
Let's-
I'm the person.
You know what, we're
Exactly,
just
to your
gonna come
point.
through here and see what's going on.
Let's have a sit down at the end. We're gonna have a forum so that we can have these one-on-ones.
Okay.
Let's have a sit down, let's look at it. Because again, she gets the direct communications from all the DBEs.
Okay.
And then once they get plugged into Building Connected, then
Yeah.
he gets all the direct communications. So it
And
sounds
I
like there's
took
some,
over Building
a missing
Connect like 10 months ago and since then we've been replying.
Yep. and I get all the replies too. So
Okay.
let's definitely meet after this, figure out what's going on.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, sorry, yes.
I never submitted on the Building Connected, but we submitted our bids directly to them.
Yes.
The
Building Connected gives you opportunity to upload your PDF. If you're not comfortable with what we normally give you like a bid form that you can fill to make it easier, but you can always plug your bid with your comments or whatever, upload it directly there or send it by email. Yeah. Everything works at the end of the day, okay? It's not mandatory to submit in Building Connected.
I know, with the DBE program, some of your, companies that you award projects to might be a general contractor that's not necessarily a DBE because they're too big.
Mm-hmm.
They've mandated to hear participation, so they can also be relevant with participation.
Yes.
Correct. So his question was for our large primes, the firms that are on the project with those massive contracts, do they have mandates for lower tier DB participation? The answer to that question is yes.
Yes.
So all of our major subs, and Chris, I'm not sure if you guys caught this, but Crystal made a point that whenever we award a contract, we put the awardee on our website. So you can go to the website. She was trying to make the point that if you see a specific contract and you don't think that you have the capacity to prime it, you can go to our website, see who was awarded that work, and if you have any questions about connectivity, reach out to our team and we'll provide contact information and connect you
But
to
we
that
will
team.
go from there. No, it's great.
That's not, but it's on our website, so we can show you that, no problem. Yeah, there's a part two?
Yeah, I had a
Oh, hold on one sec. He was doing a part two to his question.
Just follow-up question. I know when a bid goes for the bid period, that's when we have to get rid of the bid bank holders that are gonna be bidding on that
So
project.
that's a kind of a loaded question. So basically what he's asking is, during the bidding process, how do you get involved with the people who are bidding? That one's a little more complicated because really, all of our major packages have already been awarded. So we're not really gonna run into that issue now. But historically speaking, I get where you're coming from. We would say monitor Building Connected because you see who's interested on Building Connected. All of our large GCs who look at this work and say, yeah, I'm gonna bid that, the Hensel Phelps, the MC Deans, any of those large guys. They go into Building Connected because they have to bid through the same platform. You can see when you go on Building Connected, it tells you everybody who's interested in a RFP and who's planning on bidding. If you have contacts to those individuals, reach out directly to them. Hey, we're looking on Purple Line's website. We see that you guys are gonna bid XY package. How can we participate? How can we come on as a lower tier? Here's what we think we can do to add value. Have those conversations. If you don't have connects with those specific companies, you can reach out to our team because we've got a list of every single person that's on our project. We've got contacts for all of them so that we can share that information.
And I want to jump in too, after this is all done, please network with each other. There are some primes in here, mingling, so just talk amongst yourself. You might actually be able to make a connection and join in somehow on the project.
Where are the primes? Where are they?
If you're certified, the firms reach out to you, if they go through the direct.
They do, yeah,
And they
so,
reach out before the bidding process, if they're stipulated to have a DBE on it.
Yep.
Cause I've gotten quite a few from some of the firms.
that's, did everyone hear the comment that you made?
Yes, yes.
As you're bidding, those primes know that they've got a DBE goal on the project, so they reach out directly to you guys outside of us prompting them. They reach out to have connectivity to DBEs to pull them into the fold. One thing to state about that though is generally speaking, you're gonna have primes that have their pool of comfortable DBEs that they work with. They're gonna go to that pool every time. So you do have to do some legwork and put yourself into those ears, if you will. Gotta talk like
I do want to make a note to, make it more than the motion, so, so, versus, put it out, yeah.
Marquise is saying that it's also a good idea to network with other DBEs because you can sometimes join forces
Okay.
and come in as a paired DBE. I've definitely seen that done before. We've got a couple on our project that are DBEs working with DBEs, come in stronger together. We get the full credit by doing it that way. So that for me, that's the ideal situation personally. That's a unicorn. That's the ideal. Generally, what we're working with is the example that she gave is we've got the primes that come in, they're looking for their couple percentage of small business, and then we don't get the majority of the work and we get a percentage of what they're doing. I love the alternative of having a DBE work with a DBE, carve out what you can to that niche, and we get the full credit because you guys are coming in as a partnership.
So ideally, just a quick question, I'm just trying to model it in my head. So ideally, if I call Crystal and I say, Crystal, here's my NAICS codes that I'm actually trying to focus strong on the program. Can you give me a list of the primes in addition to what you guys are gonna put out, independent of them?
Not based on NAICS.
No,
No,
because
because
services that they're providing.
services,
That's
yeah.
right.
The reason why I say not on NAICS is because the NAICS codes can sometimes lead you down a different path, right? There can be 15 NAICS
Mhm.
that'll match one scope.
Right.
So let's go scope based, and when we talk scope based, then we're talking about things that we know are active on the project.
Right.
NAICS will not tell you what's active on the project.
No, I wasn't gonna add, I wouldn't ask for NAICS codes, no.
Okay.
I would have to dial down on that.
Exactly.
I would ask for the service model that I am focusing on, because with Prime, first of all, Primes don't operate on the NAICS code basis.
Right.
Primes operate on the service model in which they specify it. If it's transit like HP, they're gonna, in whatever book of business they have contracted on this program.
Mhm.
Right, that's gonna be different on different projects with them anyway.
Yeah.
So I would go, would you be able to, if I ask a direct question like that, would you be able to then answer it for me, what that'll do is to target down the footwork that I'm gonna have to do.
Can I
Who
give
takes
an
that-
example? Can I give an example? So he's asking if he reaches out to our team, could we help guide him on who he should be connecting with scope wise? An example that I'm gonna give. Hey, Crystal, I do electrical work. I do I do the conduits for electrical. Who is doing the electrical on this project? Person would then reply, MC Dean has a master electrical contract. Let me get you contact information for MC Dean.
Excellent. Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, now I got a target audience.
Exactly.
They may have very different scopes and very different areas. We've got 26 different stations.
Exactly.
And so now I got a full audience of how to target.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that cuts down.
So to the point that you're making, do us some legwork as well and look at the list of awarded contracts that are on the website, because that'll help guide that conversation.
Yes.
You may not even know that there's work happening that fits your scope until you look at that full list.
Excellent.
You may come into it thinking, oh, I can do this, and you look at the list and you're like, oh, there are 3 other scopes here that I should be engaging with.
Thank you.
So look at that list, get a full assessment before you reach out to say, hey, this is what I wanna, okay?
Thank you.
Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
So, yeah, building connected. So once we get all the quotes, we go to our internal review process. So we may request you to have pre-award meetings if we haven't worked together in the past. And we build like a comparative matrix to take the decision. So the elements that are of best values, if we work with you in the past, if you have the crews available, technical review that comes from the site, safety record, and we take also the DBE threshold is a very important point. If you are DBE, you're gonna have preference over a non-DBE if you are in equal position, okay? And we got like a threshold that we go even a little bit higher on price on DBEs, okay? So that's something you need to know. So after that, we take the decision and we contact you, and I'm gonna show you what it's like to contract with MTS, okay? So what you need to understand that we have different types of contracts depending on the service. So the lightest one is the consultant service. That's when you do a work outside the office and you are not gonna be working on site. We are not gonna request you any bonding or any special requirement. That's a lighter contract. Then we have the service agreement. This is when you are gonna work on site on hourly rates, not providing permanent material. That contract is not subject to bond or retainage. That's also a light contract, okay? But you will have to have insurance requirements, okay? Engineering agreement, that's on the same level if you're gonna provide engineering services, okay? And then we're going to the subcontract. The subcontract is a tougher document, okay? This is we are working on unit price and performing works on site and bringing permanent material. That's gonna be subject to either bonding or retainage, okay? Okay, that's a tougher one. Then we have the purchase order. Also purchase order, we have purchase order for consumables, which is a lighter document, and purchase order for permanent material, which is subject to our contract with the concessionaires, which is a tougher document. So we have a broad of commercial documents, okay, that will adapt what you're gonna be performing on site. So you need to know that our subcontract and our contract are subject to some flow downs from our DBA contract, from the contract that we have the concessionaire, and they have to from MTO. So we are subject to federal requirements, federal clauses, okay? DBE participation, we always request a participation on our contracts, or at least a good faith effort. We have some waste decisions that are set for the project, if you're gonna be subcontractor or you're gonna be working on site. And we are subject to other federal requirements like Buy America, so you need to know those requirements, okay? Yes.
Yeah, the DB coming to person. Just want to know, in all cases, if it's just a subcontracting coming to the subcontract, it's right.
What was that question one more time?
So the subcontractor usually gets 30% of the category. But crime is also that something.
Yeah, we're gonna get a higher percentage, yeah.
Yeah, if the prime is a DBE.
Yeah, that's the ideal position.
Right, so one of the regulations though, just to throw this out there, because let's kind of see where you're going with this. One of the regulations for a DBE subbing out work, you have to maintain at very minimum 30% of your contract. Otherwise, none of it counts for DB credit. So if you are a DBE thinking about subbing out work, 30% at a bare minimum, you have to maintain 30% or more. You need to keep, otherwise none of the credit counts for DBE credit. So if you're gonna be subbing out and partnering with other people, just make sure you think about that. We've had a few situations where DBEs have come into it as, oh, I'm gonna GC it and I'm just gonna manage and sub it all out. They sub way too much out and we couldn't claim any of the credit at the end of the day. Okay,
Yeah, to subcontract other.
if you can, yeah, that's the goal, right? Like we're talking about our unicorn. If you can sub out to other DBEs, that's 100% the goal, because then we can claim that credit just under the other firm.
Still, the other thing count, like, other DPEs, we can still count.
Yes, yes, yep, yeah. You're gonna ask a question, and then we'll come here.
Just a question about the wholesale program.
Yeah, so that's something that I was gonna touch base now. So that's OSI program for the project, okay? So it's owner control insurance program or owner provided insurance program. So if you're gonna perform any works on site and have worked on site doing physical work, you need to enroll on the OSI program, which is very cool because really is the owner that is providing an umbrella for all the companies working on site, and it's totally free of charge, okay? You will have to fill an ION form, and it's a process that we will help you out, but it's totally free of charge, and you will get the benefit from a great coverage.
You said Aon.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, I think this might be the area you're in, regarding your bidding process, MTS bidding
Mhm.
process. Is there a scorecard or percentage breakdown that you're trying, that is modeled by how you determine out your bids? Because it can't, I don't know if it's, because, you have these models where you gotta be this percentage, you gotta be that percentage, you gotta be.
It's not real model. There is real, is we do a comparative matrix and we receive the input
There's
from the
price.
construction guy.
So it's
No, price, no, it's also
So that's what.
past experience,
Okay, got it.
tools availability, techniques.
Segue.
There is also,
Go ahead.
You guys
You're right.
That's what that means. You're asking good questions. You're asking the right questions.
That is in a timely manner, that's like, so you have a question, the next slide.
Oh, good.
Explain it.
the price is gonna be on the mix, but
Sure.
there is, we receive also the technical review from the construction guys. And we may do pre-award meetings, and also there is the DBE threshold that who can bring more DBE credits to the project, so. And with all that mix is when we take the decision,
The
okay?
reason why I asked, because when I looked on your portal, the Connect building portal,
Mhm.
the area that you give the breakdown in is strictly numbers. Now, the added value,
But you can upload a PDF.
PDF to
Exactly.
communicate my added value.
Exactly, this is what I'm
Okay,
insisting,
excellent.
building connected,
Right,
don't just upload, if you have
right.
more things
Because I
to
wanted make
bring.
sure where I can
Or
put
a
my
presentation of the
differentiator.
company, upload the PDF or send it to us directly, yeah. And that's gonna play into the mix, yeah, for sure.
Yes, really good question.
Also, once we take the decision, okay, that's normally how it works. We take a decision, we draft a contract, we contact you guys. We have like normally we reach into, there is a negotiation to get the final document. We send all our contracts in DocuSign, so it gets clear and signed by everyone. We log all that information, then you will have to, the one step before going to site is get enrolled. If you're gonna work on site, we will help you out with the OPIP enrollment. And you will have to pass the safety orientation. And once all these steps are done, you are fit for working with MTS. That's the process.
Marquis,
Before
say
also-
something?
before-
Real quick, Marquis, gonna say something?
Yeah.
How do you guys assist with, the bond? Second one.
Yeah, that's a good question. Normally, depending on the value of the contract and if it's a DBE, we can be flexible with the bond, okay? So if you are not able to bond the works, we can hear you, we can negotiate that and come with a retainage. So instead, we exchange the bond against retainage. So that covers up for a small uncertainties or something goes wrong, we have a little retainage that we will give you back once the works are approved and accepted. So we are flexible with the small companies with the bond.
I want to
It's
add
not that
something
it's
else to
set in
this.
concrete that you need to bond, okay?
I want to add something else to that. So to Gabe's point, every single contract that we award, we have to look at it on a case by case basis,
Yes.
right? So we're not just gonna paint a broad stroke and say, if you're a DBE, we get to waive the bond for you.
Yeah.
That's not the case because we have to
Depending on the
manage risk.
size, depending on the risk of the contract, and there is a mix that we will have to come into terms.
So there's a lot of different things that we can do to help, but the bond waiver is not the go-to, right? That's gonna be a case by case. And we also have a list of bond resources that are state approved that we can provide to you guys as well and walk you through that process. I think I've got about 10 to 15 different bond companies on my list right now
Yeah.
that are on MDOT's website. So if you guys want any other bonding agency options, let us know. I'm more than happy to provide that. as
Also,
well.
we will pay for the bond. So sometimes some small companies prefer to go bonding because we're gonna pay and we may waive the retainage, and some may want to keep the retainage and waive the bond. Okay, so
Question on bonding. So let's say ideally, let's scenario, awarded contract, large contract.
Mhm.
Can you debundle the contract to fit my bond? Let's say the contract is 10, and I say, okay, I don't want my bond locked up for 10 million for 6 months because the project is in segments,
it's
right?
a case by case.
Can you,
We've done that, but it's a case by case. It's a case by case.
I understand,
It's a case by case.
we're the small business coming to have the conversation. with you.
It's a case by
So
case.
for small business, we're MBE, it's
Yeah.
hard enough for me to get bonding on that level.
Yes.
And so to lock my bonding up on that level for a long period of time, my conversation would be, I want the project, I want to grow, but if you lock my bonding up,
Yeah.
what it'll do is restrict me.
Depending on the risk of the work, we can do that, and we've done that. We've done that also. With some companies that they were, that was a huge contract, but really he had to invest very little in materials. And we did that. Okay, we did a small bond for what's covering the materials and just that portion of the contract. Okay, it's on a case by case.
I was actively involved in that negotiation, and it was a monster to try and navigate. But again, we made it happen. So
But he's talking about, we can't do it to material bond, that's material.
No, but it was performance material, but it was a contract with a small risk, okay? That it was doing the same thing many times and with just one crew, but a big contract.
So we broke it up into the section. that you talked about. It's possible. Yep.
It's possible.
So how you could-
And then second,
Second part was, semi-construction, but like, you know, I can answer later, from a negative point of view, for our smaller communities. How can you assist with their invoice said that they're scheduled to be paid, like, 3 months later?
So normally, our turnaround is 30 days. Normally, from the moment we receive an invoice. We've done lots of effort and to strengthen the accounting payables department, but that's normally 30 days.
yeah,
That's a big
this portion is
project.
actually outside of Gabe's
Yeah.
realm. We just did a training last week last week Thursday, that was with our accounting department.
Yeah.
And we went over the entire invoicing payout process and talked about those different things. So on the payment side, we want, again, everything is gonna be case by case. We don't wanna make it so that it's an administrative burden for our engineering team to try and keep up with all the exceptions that we've made for our small businesses. So what we've done is we've got a standard monthly invoicing, so that the close off is the 15th.
Yes.
And then you submit your invoice for everything done for the month prior. If there are instances where we need to have, accelerated pay terms or varying pay terms for what's standard in the contract, have one-off conversation. Come to us, let us know what the need is, what the issue is, and we'll figure out a way to work with you. There are a few different things that we can do, right? We can look at invoicing more frequently. We can look at net 30 payments. There are a couple things that we can do, but it's gonna be dependent on the actual contract and the work that's being done. One thing that we don't want to do is set ourselves up to be facilitating the financial demise of a company because they have bad business practices, right? So we don't want to accelerate payments to a firm if they're not paying their lower tiers. We don't know that they're not paying their lower tiers, their suppliers, if we're expediting those payments to them. So again, case by case, and we've had some situations, as you know, that have been pretty extreme where we've had to withhold payments because they weren't paying their suppliers. They come after us because we are the owner of that contract. So we'll work with you, yes, but you gotta be able to talk to us about it because we're not gonna pay them up rostrum for it.
One question, when you said that, you all pay out from the previous month, so here in March, and the 15th of March is passed, we turn in our pencil recs and that gets ratified on March 15th for February, correct? And then that gets paid out 30 days after the 15th of March?
No, it's not a 30-day turnaround. Once invoices are approved, it's doing like a 2-week turnaround
Okay.
to get things paid out.
So it
Maximum
paid out to the general contractor, and then they pay us out after they get their.
So prompt payment is on this project, and what prompt payment means is that paid within 7 days, and that flows down the tiering. So we pay our subs after we get it, and MTA pays us, we've got 7 days to pay all of our second tier subs. Once we pay those second tier subs, they have 7 days to pay all of their third tier subs. Once they pay the third tier, then they have 7 days to pay the fourth tier. So if you're a lower tier, you can see how that can really drag out the payments. That's when we start talking about what can we do to accommodate the payments. That's when more conversations about like the net 30 start coming up. For the lower tier, we don't have as many conversations at the second tier level.
The question I want to answer, because it's important to speak with MTS early as possible, especially if you know your firm has specific circumstances that in which the traditional way of payment is they hold you good with your firm. That's what it's for the average conversation. Also, get these entries on what they do. It's been 3 months. They're like third tier sub. And you know, that pay when paid through the brokerage process, and it's still, we can't do anything because it's good for that. So by then, the firm is dropping because they fall, you know, a lot of them go,
Yeah, that's usually worst case scenario when there's disputed payments. Yeah, that's not the culture of, you know, this
We
project.
want to make sure that that's not the culture.
Okay, so also one thing, if you're getting to contact with us, before starting the work, we will do a kickoff meeting. And on that kickoff meeting, we'll provide an agenda and we'll explain all our procedure, how it works for the safety training, how it works to get the invoices paid, how do you need to submit your paperwork, how you need to do with quality. So it's kind of a manual how to navigate the project. Okay, so before you start working with us, you will get those instructions at that meeting. Okay. And also one thing, once you got set up, it's gonna be easier if we have for future collaboration. If you have a contract, it's gonna be like a sign with us, it's gonna be like a master contract. And any other works will go through change orders, which is like a 2-page document and is much lighter and easier to agree on. Okay.
So I see a hand raised online. Ali, did you have a question?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Hello, this is Ali with Dallas Geotechnical. We are a DBMB SWAM geotechnical engineering firm. Honestly, I just keep participating in popular purple line event couple. I can tell you last 2 years. I'm wondering if you guys can manage and help we as a subcontractor, as a DB subcontractor, and have a like outreach event with a company who got the project. In this way, we can talk to them and we can mention them how we can help them. In this way, I think it will be a shortcut and it will be so helpful. Honestly, I just really appreciate about bonding and all this stuff. I feel you guys try to help us a lot. That's why I was feeling probably that's a big help for us. That's why I just would like if you guys, I'm wondering if you can just make an outreach and we can talk to the people they got the job and we can mention them how we can help them, what kind of proficiency we have, and this and that. Thank you.
So Ali, just to make sure that I'm clear on what the ask is, sounds like you're asking for us to host an event for the primes. So all of the primes that we have on the project who have lower tier opportunities, provide a forum for you to connect directly with those entities?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's definitely something we can look into. That's a great idea. So he brings up a good point. We're gonna follow up to this event with a survey.
Yeah.
So in that survey, we're gonna ask what you guys wanna see for trainings, because again, we've got what we do, right? We know what we do. We wanna know what you guys want,
Yes.
and not just food and feed you what we do all the time. So to Ali's point, any suggestions like that you guys have, please make sure to let us know,
Okay.
because we've got another 3 years on this project. This goes until 2027.
Okay.
We're gonna be doing this for the next 3 years until all opportunities have been exhausted, so let us know.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
gonna be my next question. When does this end? I mean, when?
2027, right now.
The main
Right now.
contracts have been awarded, but
Right
we,
now.
we keep bidding and keep bidding, yeah. That to the point, main contract have been awarded, but
Can be extended.
that's like a snapshot, so you can see more or less. Now we have like 4 packages for bid: concrete pavement, miscellaneous work, corrosion protection,
Real quick, guys,
environmental, and sidings.
this page right here is super important.
That's a snapshot.
Everybody came to really get this one page right here.
And it's-
Everything else that we talked about was great, but this is really what you guys wanna know,
But
right?
if you-
What's out there?
If you get into our webpage, you can check that on a weekly basis. Each time we post a package, it will show up there, okay?
And there's a printout of this over there, so if we wanna do a snapshot later too, there's a printout right there on the table.
Other question, if the design project is awarded, is there any design scope still needs to be done or not? That's the key.
There's very minimal design. It's the DSDC, Design Services During Construction, happening right now. Atkins has that contract, and a lot of the firms that they've been working with for the past 6 years are still under contract with them. So they've got a pretty full DBE team. That doesn't mean that we can't make connectivity and you can reach out and see if there's something else they may need.
It's construction design, temporary works.
Just awarded design service.
Atkins,
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 ATKINS.
correct.
Yes.
Any contact person or anybody?
Yeah, get our card, reach out to us, and we'll give you the contact information for Atkins, no problem.
Does pending means it's been bidded already and you're waiting to award it?
No, so let me explain this. So what this means,
No, that's what we have
currently
now.
bidding is out on the street. This is in Building Connected right now. So you see the NOI that went out, these NOIs literally just went out within the past month. All of these are active on Building Connected. So if you do any of these scopes here, time is of the essence. You're gonna miss out if you don't get engaged immediately. These are on Building Connected. These 3 right here that are pending, that means that these are the next to be released. We've routed the NOI, which means that this is now on the radars of all the DBEs that are MDOT certified. When we send out our NOI, it goes to the entire directory for MDOT. We want to make sure that anybody who's certified gets some sort of exposure to the project. We don't want you to say, we weren't notified, even if it didn't fit your scope. We want you to know that it's there. So even if you've got a friend, you've got a partner that you work with, and you can come on, you've got the information, right? You can then make an informed decision. These are pending, NOIs are out in the street. These are gonna be released on the Building Connected within the coming weeks. These down here are yet to be released, and you can see that we've got a tentative schedule for when we plan on releasing these guys. What this means is that we're working with the engineers to build out the scope descriptions. We're getting the plans and the specs all pulled together. These will then get moved to pending, and then they'll get released to currently bidded.
And those are the ones we know, that can change on a weekly basis.
Exactly.
Sometimes we have the guys from the side, I need, an urgent need for flat work, or I need somebody to put some cabling here, and we got like an express package that we post in a faster way, okay? So that's his life, that changes every week.
Okay, so make sure you guys stay in tune with this. This, we update like you said, weekly. This is what we coordinate with MTA and we have conversations around. And that's really what they're gonna be looking for us to engage with the DBE community on. So if you guys perform any of those services, please engage immediately.
Roughly how long from the notice to SD? With that package?
You asking a loaded question. He said, what's the time frame from the time we release an NOI to when we actually put? That's a loaded question. It's hard to gauge that one. Some can go up. Some are in immediate need, right? And the engineers who are requesting the work are very organized. Sometimes we have engineers who request things who are not very organized.
And then they realize,
And then hurry up
oh,
and wait.
I should have done something prior to that activity, and then it goes delayed for 1-2 months. That
So-
happens.
Let's say 2 weeks to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
It's a window. So again, we've got some express needs and those will be on Building Connect within 2 weeks. We do 2 weeks to do our outreach. As soon as we do our outreach and we give the list to Gate, it's on Building Connected the next day. Some we give them a list and it sits for a month while the engineer and he are going back and forth to figure out the details of that RFP. Then it gets put on Building Connected. Okay, but one thing to note is everything that's on Building Connected goes live on our website, whether you're invited to it or not. I want to reiterate that point. Bookmark the website. Check it once a week and just do a little scan. Nothing new today, moving on. Oh, got a new one. I want to get involved in this one. Either join or reach out and get more information on it if you need it. Okay. So we want to end with some contact information. And again, we're going to share this with you guys so you'll know. Gabe, my contracts manager here, we want to thank him for his time with helping put this together and really giving us information. Kenya, can you raise your hand for us? Kenya in the background over there, she's one of our contracts administrators, so she works directly with the contracts service agreements. So once you guys get a contract, you're probably going to be working with Kenya. And Kelly, I think, is online, but not here. She's at the office. She does the purchase order. So for all the suppliers that are in the room, if you get a purchase order with us, it'll be Kelly that you're probably most likely to be working with, Kelly or Mike, okay? And then for the compliance team, myself as the DBE compliance manager, we've got Krista Ruiz, who you guys heard from. And then in the back here, raise your hand, Ola. Ola is another one of my compliance coordinators, and she helps out a lot with the workforce development and with certified payroll. So for all of the contractors here who get a contract and you have craft employees, you're definitely going to be working with Ola because she manages certified payroll. Okay. Again, we've got a QR code to try and make it easy. If you guys want to scan the QR code, it'll take you directly to our website. Get registered with us. I know that we are short on time, but for those of you in the room, we still have this room for a while, so you don't have to rush to leave. For those of you online, I want to open it up to Q&A. So if there are any questions, comments, concerns, Ola, if you want to start reading some of those chat questions, let's get the Q&A going now while we still have a little bit of time. So anyone online, if you guys have questions, go ahead, take yourself off mute while you've got the experts in the room. And again, Ola's going to be managing the chat feature. So outside of the introductions, we definitely appreciate the introductions, but outside of that, if there are questions in the chat, she'll read those out live to us. Okay.
What makes up the 22% goal? Are there some goals that is working?
So the question is, what makes up the 22% goal? Are there sub goals for different ethnicities? Because this is a federally funded project, the answer to that question is no. The way the feds work, DBE certification is king. DBE certification means minorities and women. If you are a minority or if you are a female-owned company, you can get certified as a DBE, but it's not going to be a DBE as a African-American company or DBE as a DBE period. And then when you go into the database, it'll show you what those subsets are, if you will. But because this is federally funded, we can't track any lower tier diversity goals. So 22% is DBE only, and 26% is DBE only for the design phase. We do get into some of those sub goals when we look at our workforce. We've got the nationally targeted worker goal. And in that case, we're looking at economically disadvantaged individuals, socially disadvantaged individuals, minority, female, different ethnicity subsets. That's a little bit more involved, but that's once you have a contract and you have craft employees, then we're pulling those in.
Any of this work for A&D?
So the question is any of this work for A&D, architectural and engineering services? The comment that I made earlier about design pretty much being done, unfortunately, there's not much, if any, architectural and engineering work. I would say reach out to our team and we can connect you directly to Atkins to see if there's any lower tier work there. But like I know, we've been in touch with them. We know that they've got a pretty robust team of DBEs already, but I don't want to discourage you. So reach out and we'll make the connectivity. But what we are showing for MTS is not A&E work. We're only looking for construction services at this point.
Are there still dump trucks opportunities on the project?
Yeah, yep. I'm 16 miles. We're always gonna have a need for dump trucks and trucking services. So
How do we, bid it? Because everything, it never specifically spelled out. We're looking for.
let's reach out to Gabe. That was something that we bid early on. So that was a procurement that we did back in 2022, beginning of 2023. So we're always open to the idea,
Yes.
right? So I would say reach out. Gabe, do you have cards up front? If not, I've got his contact information here. My card is up front. Reach out to us and we'll make that connectivity.
Okay.
Cool.
I know we were mentioning once ago, for disposal, hauling, I haven't seen anything that, business on, so that's kind of, both building, is that for that, or is it still heavy?
So he said that he saw an RFP month or so ago.
Yeah, that was like 3 months ago.
3 months ago.
Yeah, that was close, but the trucking is an evolving thing, so if you are welcome to send us a bid and a number, yeah.
Well, I split it on building, I just wanted to know if there's a follow-up, what there's a need for.
Okay.
So sounds like you need to connect with him directly
Yeah.
to get the results on that.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, you would know if you were awarded. So it sounds like that wasn't the case, but let's connect and find out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will do a debrief, yeah.
Other questions? Okay, go ahead, Ol. Yeah, the question again is about design. Design has been completed, from our perspective. Again, for everyone who's on this call who has questions on design work, hold those questions for me directly, shoot me an email and pose any questions about design work or design connectivity to me and Crystal, and we'll make sure to connect you to the Atkins leads. IT services. So IT services, unfortunately, this is one of those ones where having large JV teams works in our benefit, but does not help the DB community. So I have seen IT subbed out on some larger projects, but because we've got 2 major GCs on this project, they have all the IT in-house. So that's not something that we were able to bid out because they wanted their corporate to manage that. Any other questions? I want to give it another minute. And then oh, I wasn't planning on doing that, but we can. Are you guys comfortable with your contact information being shared with everyone?
Sure.
Yes? Okay, okay. Then that's a yes, we can do that. All right, so I guess with that, I want to thank everybody for coming, for engaging with us, for taking time out of your busy days. I'm gonna leave the contact slide up as our exit slide. For everybody that's in the room, I want you guys, if you have questions, you want to network with us and the team, please stay and Let's have some conversations. Otherwise, have a great rest of the day. Good luck with your travels back to the office, and we'll be here for a minute. Oh, real quick, primes. Are there primes in the room? Kristen, you said there were a couple primes. If you are a prime, raise your hand. Oh, they registered in. Gotcha.
I just wanted.
Thanks, guys. I want to thank you guys all for coming. I'm gonna go ahead and close the online chat now. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Okay.